Hi, this is Martin and welcome to the last in this series of introduction videos looking at getting started with OpenInsight. Hopefully it'll be the last one until somebody says, hey Martin, you've forgotten, and I need to produce another little video just to cover that. But as far as the series are concerned, this is the last one, probably one of the easiest and quickest videos that I'm going to do. And I'm so eager to get into it. I've already got my OpenInsight open at my clinic application. And what this is all about is just finishing up completing the application. Now what we want to do is we want to just set some of the application properties. Now some of them we've already set previously, but it'd be nice to actually go in and make sure that we've actually set these correctly. So you need to make sure you've got a title. I'm just going to change that to capital C and capital A, make it nice. And we also want to make sure that we've got a setup entry point defined. Now we actually defined that earlier on. If you didn't, this will be ticked, no application point, entry point selected. Uncheck that and make sure that you've got the MP switchboard selected. So that means that when we run this application, when we launch it, it will come straight in and run that window rather than the main OpenInsight development environment. Creation permissions, this is who can create users. So if we were to move Martin over here, then be able to create users within the application. For the moment, I'm just going to leave it as the main clinic. We haven't got any documents to reference, and I haven't got a logon banner, but if I wanted to, and I'd got an image that I wanted to display as the application runs up, then I can again uncheck that, select my image, and I could display that image as it's running up. So you might have some licensing information, maybe a bit of branding, something along those lines. So once we're done, we can just OK that. Now we can test that by just clicking the launch application button, and you can see now that takes us straight into our main clinic application window, and from there obviously we can then run the other windows for our application. Now if I just come out of this for the moment, and if you remember very early on in the early days we set up the shortcut with some switches, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy and I'll paste a new instance of that shortcut. And in this particular instance what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of the login information. So literally all we're going to be doing is running the RevSoft OpenInsight.exe file, and what I'll do is I'll just change this to runtime, for instance. Now this time if I actually run that shortcut, I'm prompted to log into the application, so it's looking for my username and password. So I've got that, so I'm happy. So if I click OK, again now that's taken us straight into the application. Now I'm still running on top of my development engine, so if I was deploying this to a user, I'd need to change the license file to the OpenInsight.rom file, and again if you contact support or even myself I can explain that in a little bit more detail. But now we're actually running the application rather than going into the IDE. Now that's great, you say, until on your machine you actually want to go into development mode, where you can either maintain two shortcuts, or when you go into the application and it's asking you to log in, what you can do is just simply cancel, file, open the application, and this time we can actually log into it through here, and then that will launch the IDE for us. So we could still just have our one shortcut if we want to. Right, so that's really where we are with the tutorials, getting started with OpenInsight. It's been a long road. We've come a long way. We've done quite a lot with this little application. It's still very small and there's still a lot more that we can do with it. But I think that we are pretty much done. Hope you find it useful, and I'll see you very soon for the O4W tutorials. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye bye.